Well, hi, it's Jennifer. Welcome to my channel. I'm so glad that you've come by. In today's video, I want to talk about making peace with the fact that there will be lovely human beings who will visit our channel for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And each one of those categories has value. So we don't need to fret for those who only may stop by for one video, or those who may visit us for a period of time. It's easy to be very joyful and happy about those who will stay with us, but it's all about our thinking and how we think about our content creating experience. That's one thing that I am learning. And if this is your first time here, this video is a video in a series, and it's how I launched my channel under this series called How I'm Starting a YouTube Channel in Midlife with No Experience. I was somebody who had wanted to start a YouTube channel for 5 years, and I was really, really good and quite habitual at regularly talking myself out of actually committing to the process and doing it. I spent years, and I mean years, listening to how to do YouTube, to how to start a channel, but I never did it. It was like a cold fireplace. I was thinking about this the other day when I was doing some life coaching with my son, who's 21 years old. He was trying to decide what type of career he wanted to go into, and he had several different options and things he's been interested in. But he found that he was also lacking motivation in doing the thing. I, was giving him advice saying, well, it's one or two things. Either, you're struggling to move forward into this particular career field, either A, because it just doesn't jazz you. It's just, you thought maybe it would be great, but now that you've gotten into researching and studying and prepping, you're just finding it's not for you. And that's perfectly fine, because that's knowledge. Or are you like a cold fireplace where you're gathering all this information, but you haven't, you have your kindling and your fire starter and your wood, your fireplace is prepared, but you actually haven't lit the fire to create the momentum. You haven't actually stepped into it. And that was me. That's how I was with YouTube. YouTube definitely jazzed me. I've loved YouTube forever. So YouTube jazzed me. My problem was I was a cold fireplace. I had gathered everything I needed to start a YouTube channel. The problem is I hadn't done it yet because of my habit of constantly putting it off, which honestly, if you went a layer deeper, it was because I had some insecurities and doubts and limiting beliefs. And maybe you've been there too. And I feel you. I feel your pain because I have been there. The struggle is real. The pull to want to start a channel is strong, as well as the pull to not start a channel. And it's a battle. And if you don't have peace about it, you'll know. Like my son, he made a decision with this particular career field that he, actually for quite a few years thought it was going to be the field that he was going to get into. But now that he's stepped into it, he just found he didn't like it. And that's, like I said before, that is knowledge. That's powerful. Making peace with the fact that there will be these amazing people who will come and go from our channels. They'll stop by for a reason. They might stay for a season. Now, the ones who stay for a lifetime, well, that's easy, isn't it? That is the goal, that over time and with our consistency as creators, over time, as people come and go, that our core audience, our community will eventually build. Those who connect with us on the other side of the camera, that it takes time to build that relationship. It takes time to build that connection. But the goal is over time. And once again, with our consistency, that will build. Now, how quickly that'll build, it's different for every creator. I've been on this platform now 5 months. I have seen soup to nuts for how quickly channels will grow. People will come and go from our channels, and that's okay. My hope for each video, and if anybody comes and they watch a video, if they come just for a reason or they're here on my channel for a season, I hope they will take something away that will bless them in one way or another, or encourage them, or inspire them, or touch them in any particular way. That would be my goal, building and connecting with my core community of wonderful human souls. Like that is the goal. And I had to go back and look at my own viewing experience, and I had a couple of ideas. I remember, so this is my creator channel, but I have a personal channel. That personal channel I've had now for years, and it is very curated. I have a lot of subscriptions. I have subscriptions that I watch their content regularly. I have some that I will watch off and on. Maybe if it's been a while, I'll be like, oh, hey, I wonder how, so-and-so is doing. Let me go check in, and I'll, catch up with all their videos. I have had channels that I have gone to just for a reason. I have channels that it depends on the season of life that I'm in. I love to listen to Impact Theory with Tom Bilyeu. And I go through phases of when I am really like binging on his content, and then times where I'll go, probably for months without watching a lot of content. I am newly binging on it right now, which is funny. That's why I bring it up. But I have a lot of those different types of things. I will connect, and I have connected with creators who had their channel, maybe their niche was a particular niche, but as they grow in their own personal lives as people, as creators, content creators will sometimes change up their platforms, or they completely start doing something new. And what I had connected to before, I don't necessarily resonate with what they're doing now. It's nothing bad. It's just not something that I'm connecting to or that I'm interested in watching. And that's okay. The creator has to have the flexibility to create content that they enjoy and that is run by their boundaries. I did a video on that. I talk about in a particular video called Do What You Want Now, where I talk about setting boundaries. That's why I called it. Like, that's not the professional term. Like I said, I'm somebody starting a YouTube channel with no experience. But I called it boundaries. And for me, when I create a video, I want it to be encouraging, uplifting, inspirational, helpful, calming, comforting, a friend. That's my goal. So if somebody comes to my channel and they watch a video, I hope they get something from that video. Or if they come visit me for a season, that they get from me what they need to get from me, and that it will help them in one way or several ways as they go on in their lives and whatever they're doing. And then, of course, anybody who will stay with me for the lifetime of my channel, which I hope will be many, many years down the road, well, that's wonderful. I look forward to connecting and learning more ways to connect. And, one day I think it would be so much fun to do a live stream or things of that nature. Like, I don't even know how to do that. I'm not even worried about that right now. But I think that would be such a fun way to connect with my wonderful community. I really look forward to that in the future. I thought that I would share a couple of my own viewing habits as a YouTube consumer. I went through a phase, I was going through like a little bit of a transition. I always used to be a night owl. I loved the night. I homeschooled my 4 children, raising them from baby to adulthood. And a lot of time with my children. I used to be a night owl. That used to be the time. As an introverted soul, I loved the night. I loved it, not that like I loved it when my children would go to bed. No, but when my children would go to bed and my husband would go to bed for the night, I loved that alone time. That was my fill my cup alone time. That was what, as an introvert, I relished. That was my think time and I would study, I would read, back then, especially back then, I used to listen to tapes. Anybody my age and you remember listening to tapes, I would listen to motivational things and talks and all that kind of stuff. And I would create, I would work on, I used to be a big scrapbooker way back when. So I loved the nighttime. I would do my best thinking, my best processing, my best problem solving at night. Well, then just as I got older and the family lifestyle shifted as my children became older, I started thinking to myself, what would it be like if I started getting up at 6 o'clock every day? Now, I would not sleep in terribly late. I would usually get up around 7 to 8 or 9, depending on the age of my children and depending where we were at the time. That time fluctuated and changed all on the age and where we were over the spectrum. But I was never a consistent earlier riser, 6 a.m. and before. I originally thought, well, I'll just start myself off at 6 and see how I do. I started looking on YouTube for inspiration. I started looking up morning routines, and there are all kinds of morning routines out there. Some that just didn't resonate with me, some that did, but then there were some that I really loved. And while I was looking up YouTube content for a reason, I ended up finding people for a season, and then I ended up finding those creators for a lifetime. So when I started looking at morning routines, there were just a lot of videos that I watched. I couldn't even tell you who they were. I watched them. They were, inspirational or intriguing in one way or another. Well, then I remember I found this content creator called Will Tennyson, and he was a brand new YouTuber. And by the way, he was one of those YouTubers who actually blew up pretty quickly. He was like a younger dude, but what he was doing was he was trying out the morning routines of famous people. And since I was somebody looking for some morning routine inspiration, I thought, I'm going to watch his content. He was actually quite hilarious. I remember he did Mark Wahlberg's, his like 1:30 or 2:30 a.m. morning routine that he does. James Corden did his morning routine, and like a lot of people have tried to follow it. I've watched a lot of different people who followed Mark Wahlberg's morning routine, and I found it very intriguing. Well, he was so funny and his content was so engaging. He was a gym bro. Now, I was not into the gym bro side of his channel, but he would have his sisters on there. He would have his mother be part of his channel. It was just also really great entertainment. He was very, very funny, very witty. And I would love it when his mom would be on there. In fact, now his mother got so popular on his channel that she now has her own YouTube channel, and she blew up to it was like 60 or 80,000 subscribers like right away. But she already had a solid fan base. I was one of them. So when she started her own channel, I was like, oh, easy, easy breezy. And because I was searching YouTube for a reason, I ended up staying with some channels for a season and then some with Lifetime. Another content creator that I discovered during this morning routine inspirational search, I'm like, I need some inspiration and help and encouragement. I found a wonderful content creator named Angie Belmar. Now her channel and her lifestyle has gone in a completely different direction now. But back then, she was a Beachbody coach. Her and her husband, they had just a big, beautiful home, and they had their gym down below. But she would do these fantastic morning routine videos. You'll have to go. If you're a Disney lover, you would love her content because she and her husband are Disney fans. They live in Canada. They have a Disney home in Florida in Disney, and it's rather magical if you're into that kind of thing. But her routine and morning routine videos were really inspirational. And I really resonated with her content specifically because she worked and lived at home. And if you are full-time in your home, if you're working and living in the home, to organize your lifestyle so that you are productive takes planning. I feel like we're losing our light. We are. I found Angie Belmar because of a reason. And when I started watching her content, I enjoyed it so much. And I was also intrigued by how she ran her day that I started sticking around her channel for some of her other content. And then I just really found that I enjoyed her videos so much, and her personality and the things she would talk about and the way she would decorate and do her home and the way that she and her husband would work together because they both worked and lived in the home together and how they ran their day. And I became a lifetime community member. So each of these categories have value. And even if, say, somebody comes to your channel and maybe they only come for a reason. All right, well, if they take value away, that's wonderful. Or if they come and they stay with you for a season and they engage with your content, well, that helps your channel. And if they take value away from it, well, that's wonderful. And then for those who will come and join and be a part of our channel for a lifetime, I mean, that's just amazing. That is just icing on the cake. I have done this for many other topics. I've done it for self-development. During COVID time, and even a little bit before then, my family went through just a couple of major life changes. It's been quite a few years now, but we had what we called a burning of the prairie. And you know how it is when life is humming along and then suddenly it's stripped away and you're left the bare bones. You have the bare bones, but that's all you got. Well, during that season of my life, I'm a person of faith. I'm a Christian. I was really desperate for spiritual comfort and wisdom during this very difficult, challenging time. And I, started consuming a lot of spiritual content on YouTube. That's how I discovered Joyce Meyer. I had heard of Joyce Meyer, but I did not know who she was. I mean, I knew her, but I didn't know her. Well, when I was hungry for just some spiritual comfort and wisdom, I started watching her TV program and also her sermons. She has an incredible YouTube channel here. And over the days and months and weeks that I have listened to her preach and teach, I have just fallen in love with this woman. I would love to meet her one day. If you don't know anything about Joyce Meyer, that woman is an overcomer like you would not believe. You would have to read about her life history. I could not possibly do it justice in a quick summary, but she has overcome some tremendously difficult situations in her life that would crush most people. And she is such a positive, bright light and was such an encouragement to me. And although I found her because of a season I was in, I am now with her for a lifetime. I also found this other really fun spiritual speaker and teacher. Her name is Terry Savelle Foy. She has a really unique voice, but she does a lot with vision boards, and she's a person of faith. And during that time where my family went through this major change, I was just seeking some foundation, because when everything changes in your life and your world is rocked, you need something to hang on to. And that got me searching for, how do I bring some control and purpose back into my life and reestablish myself? When a lot of big things happen or big things change, your center has now changed and you've got to establish a new center. And I found Terry Savelle Foy during that time, and she was just such a blessing to me. Her YouTube videos were so encouraging, and I am a lifetime Terry Savelle Foy lover. I will go back and forth with her videos. I don't watch her all the time every day as much as I do say Joyce, but I always go back and I'll watch. So even though I was searching for a reason, I stayed for a season and became lifetime. Another interesting way that I have discovered some YouTubers that I will still check in on every now and then. Well, this was maybe back in, I don't know, maybe, I don't even know what year. I feel like it was like 10 years ago, at least 10 years ago, when YouTube was newer to me. but I knew about it and I did have it. I didn't watch it as much back then. And one of my daughters was really into a couple of YouTubers. And I remember one thing I liked to do with my children as I was raising them, I would get curious about what they were interested in, and I would want to learn about their interests or participate if I could in any way, whether that was watching a thing or doing a thing or just learning about, sitting down and talking to them about a thing, whatever it may be. Well, this one particular daughter of mine had a couple of favorite YouTubers. My daughter was really into that Japanese street look and then the dolly makeup. So she found this young lady, Taylor R. at the time, and she had just a lovely channel. Well, I started watching it with her. And she had this little tiny dog called Rosie, and this little dog is still around, the cutest little dog. And I kind of fell in love with watching this girl, and I would do it with my daughter. And her lifestyle has changed so much. And I check in and watch her videos every now and then and see where her life is. What really resonated to me as an older person watching somebody younger was how much she loved her family. And it was very heartwarming. Like, it was a heartwarming watch, and she was very funny and enjoyable to watch. And then my daughter and I could connect over her. There was another YouTuber that my daughter loved to watch called, she had actually a couple of channels. She had a beauty channel and then a vlogging style channel called Bub's Vlogs. And she's been on YouTube for years. My daughter also was a huge fan of hers. So I would also watch those videos with my daughter, and then we would talk about it. It was just conversation. And I enjoyed the content. It was just kind of fun to watch and see a different lifestyle. I've also been somebody too, I love to learn and be inspired by people of all different ages. I love listening to, anybody of any age, younger, my age, and older. You can always glean something from somebody, which is another beautiful thing about YouTube. Now, you may have a majority of people who are like you or similar to you in your age group, but you never know who's going to come by your channel or hang around and visit with you and connect with you, which I think is one of the beautiful things about YouTube. Also, another thing that I would look up specifically would be health issues. Health, because I've got blood sugar issues. I've been told now by my doctor it's genetic. Oh, but I'm still trying to do things about it. Anyway, I am interested in health, and I'm interested in eating healthy. I've always been that way. I'm not an athlete by any means. I can't anyway. I've got fusions and other issues that prevent me from being like athlete, but I do enjoy health and working out and healthy lifestyle. And I like to look for inspiration and recipes and what are people cooking and how do they prepare their foods. I love that kind of thing. While I was looking up health, I ended up finding this channel. It's this lady. I've talked about her before. Her name's Jackie Cann, Cann. And she is a tribute singer for an artist that I didn't know who this artist was, but somebody maybe famous in the United Kingdom. And she was a tribute singer, and she was on TV. But she also had health issues. She had some pretty serious health issues. And she was on a British weight loss show. I can't remember which one it was. Well, she ended up starting a YouTube channel during COVID time. And I know, it was intermittent fasting. I did it and tried my hand at intermittent fasting. So I was looking up YouTube videos on intermittent fasting. And that is how I found her channel, because that's what she was doing. And she would document her intermittent fasting. She would document what she was eating and her calories and her weight loss. So I went to her for a reason. And then I stuck around for a season. And before you knew it, I was there for a lifetime. Unfortunately, she hasn't put up a new video in a while. Once the shutdown ended, I think, for her, and then getting back into her life, she doesn't post as regularly now. But I wish she did, because I fell in love with this woman's personality. and she would incorporate different aspects of her life, like when she would travel to do her tribute singing around all these different areas in England and maybe beyond too. I'm not sure if it was only England, but United Kingdom. And she would also do her weight loss, and she would show her partner and her family and just her life. And I fell in love with this woman. I loved her spirit. I comfort myself by just remembering my own viewing habits and how I have fallen in love with creators, even if I only went to them for a reason or a season. But if I only did go for a reason or a season, that knowledge and wisdom or that inspiration has stayed with me and is valuable. So I comfort myself with that as a creator. I remind myself to trust the process of what it is like to start a YouTube channel, and that our channels will indeed grow as people come to our channels for a reason, a season, and a lifetime. That community will indeed grow. We just need to trust the process. I hope that you found this helpful and encouraging. And if you've made it to this far in the video, thank you very much. And I wish you tremendous success in your YouTube journey. All right, until the next video. Bye-bye.